right? So let's start out there in Baton Rouge on the Bayou. Who's the right guy for LSU? I know you want Marcus Freeman. I get that. I think Jeff Brohm makes a lot of sense. But, JD, we want Lane Kiffin. You got ACC Lane Kiffin, man. Every year he goes to the portal, and every year Louisville's good. Now, the caveat here, I think Lane Kiffin does stay at Ole Miss. Okay, that's a different discussion for another time. I think Marcus Freeman is someone you give a call. I think he stays at Notre Dame. I think with Notre Dame probably making the college football playoff too, that sort of makes me feel better about him staying in South Bend. A lot of people will see this this match and say, well, JD, he's never leaving Louisville, right? It's the alma mater. I mean, the place the guy went to school, he's not going to leave there. Yeah, maybe not. But if he is going to leave, it's for LSU. If you go to LSU and you're the head coach there, outside of Brian Kelly, for the most part, the track record is there to win national championships. And here's the thing, Jeff Brohm is a competitor. And competitors just can't help themselves. They want to compete at the highest level. They want the biggest stage. They want the biggest job. Like I can say this for Matt Rule when he was at Baylor. When the Carolina Panthers came calling, Matt Rule, and what he had done at the collegiate level, he's like, man, I know I can coach college football. I want to see if this works at the NFL level. From my understanding, the rumor I heard was that was essentially what the message to the team was. Hey, listen, I want to take this process to the NFL. And it went how it went. But the point I'm trying to make here for Jeff Brohm is, yes, there's the alma mater factor here. Yes, Louisville is a place that I'm sure is near and dear to his heart. But if you're a competitor, the SEC is kind of where you go. You want to win national championships? LSU is, for the most part, it seems like where you go, given what Saban, Les Miles at Orgeron, it's kind of the blueprint there, if you will. Now, I think Jeff Brohm makes a lot of sense for LSU. I think he's what you thought you were getting in Brian Kelly, but he just scores more points. Like when you hired Brian Kelly, what was the take? Yeah, you did more with less at Notre Dame, all those things. Kind of hit a ceiling there. That whole discussion kind of aged like sour milk. But the thing that you heard the most about Brian Kelly, consistency, high floor. He's going to win X number of games every year. You can count on that with Brian Kelly. He did it at Notre Dame. He's going to do it at LSU. Kind of the same thought process I have with Jeff Brohm. Now, Jeff Brohm has coached a lot less as a head coach than Brian Kelly did. But I think Jeff Brohm still checks that box of consistency, high floor, all those things. And then what I also just said, he's going to score points. Like death taxes and Jeff Brohm elevating his quarterback. Tyler Shuck bounced around a number of different schools, goes to Louisville, top 3-round draft pick in the NFL. What have we said ad nauseum on this show? It's about the quarterback in modern college football. If you want to win a national title, you better have a dude that you trust spinning the pill in a 3 to 4 game stretch to go win it. Because in that 3 to 4 game stretch in the college football playoff, guess what? The talent level kind of evens out. I'm not saying LSU won't still have a better roster than a lot of teams they're going to play in the college football playoff in the future, because they should. It's freaking LSU. But the quarterback is still going to be, especially in those last 2 to 3 games, the difference. And Jeff Brohm, I feel pretty good about what he would do with that specific quarterback. Hasn't been the problem at LSU, but it's a big deal when it comes to the next head coach out there. Also, we talk about personality with these jobs. He's similar to Brian Kelly in the sense that he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, or at least it's what you thought you were getting with Brian Kelly. Again, going back to what you thought you were getting in Brian Kelly and what Jeff Brohm would bring. Jeff Brohm is like legit no-nonsense. Like Jeff Brohm is structure, he is culture. And going back to this thought too, I think he's got more juice emotionally than a one Brian Kelly. It's not necessarily a pull the guy off the field by his belt kind of situation, but it is if you go watch the interview with him at the XFL, like that is it to a T. Do I or do I not have a pulse? Is this or is this not the XFL? Is this or is this not LSU? Do I have a pulse? Okay, let's go win a national championship. I think that's kind of the edge you get from a Jeff Brohm. Quiet confidence, quiet intensity, but I think it would fit like a glove out there in Baton Rouge. People are going to ask, well, JD, he used the portal pretty heavily at Louisville. Like, would he recruit? How many used to recruit at LSU? Listen, people talk about Brian Kelly and what he wasn't doing and when he wasn't in the building in Baton Rouge. They still recruited a top 10 class nearly every single year he was there. So if the rumor is Brian Kelly's out there on the beach somewhere, playing golf somewhere during crucial parts of the year, which I have no in-depth knowledge of, so I'm not saying anything that I've been told directly. But if that's what's out there, and they're still recruiting at that level, people are going to buy into Jeff Brohm, because I promise you he will not be doing those things during that part of the year, and they'll still probably recruit in the top 10. So that won't be an issue for LSU. Now, the other thing you talk about with the LSU job is you kind of got to get the job in itself, right? You kind of have to be down for the whole experience of being the team in the state and understanding what that logo is about, what they expect there. And to my knowledge, Jeff Brohm is not Cajun. I don't hold that against him. But you know what he is? He's obsessed with football. Obsessed with it. And so for all the things said about Brian Kelly and the way that he didn't embrace the LSU job, I think Jeff Brohm would do that. And Jeff Brohm also having been around that part of the country, being from Kentucky and playing at Louisville and all those things, I think he'd be a lot more of a fit than what you had previously in Brian Kelly. So, right archetype is going to score points, knows how to add talent, quarterback elevator. You should never think twice about the defense at LSU, because that'll be one rebuttal you hear. Well, JD, but like the defense, like, are we sure he's going to be able to take care of that side of the ball? You bring him in, and then you throw an absolute bag at Blake Baker to stay as your DC, is my thought process here. Hey, Brohm, you got the offense, you got the quarterback, great, we'll add talent, all that's good. Blake Baker, you were never the problem to begin with. Please stay in Louisiana. Please stay here in Baton Rouge. And you move forward from there. So Jeff Brohm, to me, makes a lot of sense at LSU. I feel real good about this match. To give us our grade on this hire, some of the best tips in the whole office, man. I won't be any more specific outside of that. Our very own Caden Smith. Cato, what do you give this hire for LSU, grabbing Jeff Brohm to be the next head guy in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, JD. So for this exercise, I was like, I'm not going to grade before I hear JD's case. So I have a kind of a grade in my head, and then I'll let him either convince me more or less of the hire and of the match being made. I'm giving this an A, man. I love this. I think Jeff Brohm is exactly what LSU needs. He's not a celebrity head coach. He's not a Brian Kelly. We talked about them throwing a bag at Nick Saban or Lane Kiffin, like these very popular names. I don't think LSU needs a popular name. I know Van Lathan, he works in the college football space and a lot of other spaces for The Ringer, and he is a diehard LSU fan. And he said, I want a football coach. Like, I want a guy so we can look back at their teams, see them on fourth down in a crucial moment, and I want the coach that makes his team go harder in those moments, the team that plays for each other. This guy has a great resume, JD. This is going to be his 12th year coaching right now. I don't think there's any coach on the market that's done anything more impressive than Jeff Brohm bringing Purdue to a Big Ten title.
Yeah.
Like 9-win season at Purdue, 8-win season at Purdue before he got to Louisville. That's impressive. That is a program that was in a gutter. And obviously, LSU doesn't have to come that far. But this is a guy, like you mentioned, he eats, sleeps, breathes football. He was a hell of a player. He's translated that into his coaching career. And even when he went to Louisville, man, first year he finds himself in the conference title game. He squeezes the most out of his quarterbacks. Doesn't matter if it's a portal guy. Doesn't matter if it's someone who has time to work with. His offensive side of the ball, more often than not, wins them games they're supposed to, and even games they're not supposed to. I think he's overachieved at Louisville, and I think we're going to talk about this with another candidate in the future. But if you look at Louisville the last couple of years, man, their losses are close ones. They're right there, man. And I feel like Brohm, in a position like LSU, you can get the player or two players, or you can make a couple of those games for Louisville might swing differently, pretty much, is what all I'm saying, if Jeff Brohm is a little bit better backed. So I think he's adapted for modern football and his use of the portal. I mean, every offseason I feel like he's grabbing a guy from the Sun Belt, a guy from the MAC that you haven't heard of, a quarterback, obviously. He gets the most out of his offenses. I think the recruiting will speak for itself. Austin Thomas, the GM, does a great job there. And I think if they continue to bring the same amount of talent LSU's been bringing in the last couple years, but make Jeff Brohm kind of the mastermind behind it all, I think offensively they're going to skyrocket. I think defense will figure itself out, like you mentioned with Blake Baker. I think it's a slam dunk. I think this is a football coach. He's not worried about winning the press conference. He obviously has to worry about winning over the fan base, but he knows that that's going to happen with what he does on the field, and I think he'll let that do the talking. And I think that's what LSU needs right now, with all of the politicians getting involved in the coaching search and ADs getting fired and all that stuff. Who is a ball coach? Jeff Brohm is a ball coach, and I think he can lean into the strengths geographically of Louisiana, maybe better than most of the coaches, I think, in this cycle.
And the thought is, well, he's not from the SEC. How much does that concern you? Just what you said. He's a ball coach.
Western Kentucky, Purdue, Louisville, get him to the SEC now. He has proven it at every level. This is the next progression. I think he's one of the more proven guys.
12 years, won 60+% of his games.
That's what you need.
Dude's a ball coach. You don't want that guy on your sideline when it's 4th and 1 just spitting out nails. Like, I think he's the right kind of crazy that LSU would embrace. He would embrace them back. Why? Because he's about football. They're about football. You won't see him on TikTok dancing with recruits. You won't see him doing Fine Bomb every week. Like, he will be dialed in. I expect, Cato, for us to see a very minimal amount of Jeff Brohm from a front-facing perspective, but we'll see him post-game on the field after they beat X, Y, and Z SEC team, and after LSU potentially wins another national title.
I think too, last thing, I think in his career matchups as well, the better the team is, it brings the best out of them. Like, we all watched that first drive against Miami, and we were like, okay, like, Louisville's not messing around. Like, they have 3 quarterbacks on the field. They're calling exotic offensive motions and schemes. Like, he's unloading the clip because he knows this Miami team is talented, and he's giving them their best work. In the SEC, he'd have to do that pretty regularly, and I think he could do that at LSU. You'd see games where LSU first drive, throwing the first punch. I could just see it now. I can close my eyes and see it working out. So, yeah, I give this one an A, man. I love the match made here, and I'm excited to see what else you got.
Let's go. Okay, starting off strong then. I like that. I like that a lot. All good points by you, Cato, as well.